Thank you for joining. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. And today we're going to be talking about the Coconut Grove Art Festival with its Executive Director, Camille Marchese. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see you again.
So the festival has been around for a long time, more than most of us in this room have been alive, all right? So this year, it's in February? When is it? In February. That's in 2025. It's going to be the 61st anniversary.
Yeah, can you believe it?
No, it's just like, that is really amazing for something that is known throughout the country.
Absolutely.
And it has been a Miami and Broward mainstay for most of those 60 years. This is where everybody went, all right, to go and see other people and also maybe buy some art, all right? So tell us a little bit about, Camille. You've been in the industry for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about your history and what caused you to say, I want to go down to Miami and I want to be part of the Coconut Grove Art Festival.
Well, I mean, I grew up in South Florida. So the Coconut Grove Arts Festival was the Coconut Grove Arts Festival, right? And I'm not an artist. I always wanted to be one, but I realized in college that I couldn't really be an artist, but I could help other people be an artist. So that is how I focused my my energy. And I've worked with art festivals for many years. And I thought, I would love to be home in Miami, and when Monty called me and said, hey, send me your resume, I thought this was this was my dream job. It really is my dream job. That's how this happened.
So let's talk about Monty Traynor. He's been a Miami mainstay forever, and he's been known for a lot of things. But this is certainly one that has been long lasting.
He's the Grove father.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And many years ago, he owned that restaurant there. That's what his namesake. And that was where we'd all sort of go and hang out. Where are you going? Going over to Monty's. Yep. So, and
I still go over to Monty's,
in that small world is a family member has an office in that building that's over there. Let's talk about the vendors that are there. How many vendors are there? What's the array, the eclectic array of the different type of art, in case somebody hasn't been there?
So we always refer to them as artists, artisans, artists. We have over 275 artists there, ranging from, your traditional painters to sculptors to ceramists to jewelers, glass artists. This necklace I purchased there, just 15 different categories, woodworking, but it's all fine art and fine craft.
And people can go there. They can find what really turns them on and say, absolutely, I want that. They get to meet the artists. Right?
That's the beautiful part about this. You walk into a gallery, and don't get me wrong, you should walk into galleries and buy art all the time. But it's wonderful to be able to know the history of the piece of art, why the artist created it. Every piece of art in my home, I bought at a festival. I can tell you the artist, why they created it, what their motive was. It's a nice thing.
Because that certainly, tell us the story, Mr. Artist, about what inspired you to do that. Where did you do it? How did you do it? And there's such a wide range of people that attend. You see the moms and dads with their little kids, right? Yeah. And then you see people about, that way older than us that are there with, perhaps in a wheelchair or with a walker to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So many years ago, it was free. And then at some point, the festival said, in order for us to make this profitable so we can start giving back to the community, which you guys have been doing for many long times, he said, okay, we're going to charge. And the audience was still there. They said, it's worth it. We want to go there. We want to be entertained. We want to participate in this. We want to go see all these artists at one time. I don't know where else you could go and see several hundred artists.
And meet the artists,
yes,
right? And actually meet them. Like, you can go to Basel and see a lot of artists, but they're not there. This is a really special event. I wasn't here when they gated the show, but I mean, clearly they had to. I mean, the city doesn't really give us any, a lot of people think that they don't understand that the city charges us for everything, every permit, every police officer. Sure. It's an expensive festival to produce.
And we're going to get on to FIU in just a moment.
Sure.
But what a great opportunity when people go there to do a short video with the artists, saying, I want to thank so-and-so for purchasing this. All right, over here, let me tell you a little bit about it. So they can have two sets of things. One, the art itself, and then two, push here for the story about the artist and about what's there, and I think that's important. Recently, somebody gave me a photograph of Muhammad Ali in a fight, and he did a recap for me. So I didn't have to wonder where it was, what year it was, where, and all those things. And then they mattered a lot, so I didn't have to remember it, all right?
Sure.
Even though at this point I do, all right? But it was so wonderful, so people can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the different ways that the Coconut Grove Art Festival donates to local art programs.
Well, I mean, most notably is our scholarship fund. This year, we'll give over $75,000 to scholarships between Miami-Dade high school seniors that are graduating and moving on to art schools and our FIU project together. In the next 3 years, we will have given FIU $90,000 to fund art scholarships. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty big deal.
When you talk to young artists, right, isn't it great to be able to see them and see that they're so inspired and that one of them is going to, or more, is going to create some beautiful things, all right, and make a living from that.
It's a wonderful thing. You know, we have a very vibrant emerging artist program that we put a lot of money into as well. And we basically take young students, like the students, last year's emerging artists were all from FIU, or mostly from FIU. And they come in and they work alongside of an artist, for several different artists during the festival weekend.
They get to go sit with them.
They work, yeah, they will. We show them how to pack a vehicle, how to put up a tent. They rotate through at least 3 to 4 different artists, because not everybody clicks with everybody, but they'll walk through that program, and then the following year they get to have their own tent in the show. So it's a 2-year program, and that's not inexpensive. That's another thing we fund with our excess.
It must be a thrill for an aspiring artist to be able to hang out for a while with different artists and go home. Mom, Dad, I got to meet so-and-so, and here's a picture of him, or here's some of the work that they're doing.
It's amazing. Last year we had 14 students, right? And at the end, 2 of them said, this isn't for me. And that's okay too, because selling your work outside on the street is not necessarily for every artist. Some people can't talk to people. I can talk to anybody, but a lot of people aren't good at selling their own stuff. Yep.
And Camille, tell us again about you're going to make it. There's going to be a presentation tonight at FIU. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
So we will be at FIU tonight. They have Frost After Dark, the first Wednesday of every month. So
why do they call it Frost?
It's because it's at the Frost Museum.
Okay.
It'll be at the Frost Museum tonight at 6:00. We'll be presenting our check to our 9 scholarship recipients out at FIU.
God, how fulfilling that must be for the givers and for the receivers.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
And the expressions on those students, on those young students' faces must be tremendous. And think all this work, you're going to help somebody, to be able to do that.
It's impactful. It's an impactful amount of money, to give a young person.
So let's talk about, if we could, when you received a phone call from Monty Traynor. Mm-hmm. Was that like out of the blue?
It was a little out of the blue. Like, I knew Monty pretty well. I'd come down here about 10 years before, and so I knew him, and we chatted, and he would call me occasionally. He'd be like, "Well, how do they do this where you're at?" Because I was with one of the top festivals in the country before as a volunteer, and Monty knew that. So he would call me, and he lost his staff during COVID, so he started calling me, and it just basically trying to, what do we do? How do we do? Yeah. And finally one day I said to him,
he slowly worked his way in, and
so I said, "Monty, do you want me to come down there and train somebody?"
He said, "How did you guess?"
And he said, "No, dear, instead, could you send me your resume?" And I was like, "Oh, hallelujah," So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience for me to get to work alongside of him for a couple of years. Priceless.
So he's retiring, or is
he is retired?
Retired. All right.
Yep.
So again, he's been a fixture forever.
Well, he's retired, but he remains our president emeritus. Mm-hmm. So we will always have him around. As long as Monty is around, he will be part of this art festival.
And so would it be appropriate to call you the new face of the art festival?
I'm never comfortable being the face of anything, but I am the new leader, I suppose you could say.
Okay, let's talk about your board of directors,
mm-hmm.
all right? Tell us about who they are and how you put together a plan like this and implement it.
So our board of directors is very diverse. Dave Hill Jr. is our chairman. Our vice chair, who will be our chair in 2 years, is Pamela Mayer. Our treasurer is Flavio Carrillo. Our secretary is Marshall Steingold. We have several other members. We've got Lilia Garcia, who's been a fixture in the arts community forever. We have Curtis Kreider, Jack Eads, Ben Cooney. Everybody knows Ben. I always miss somebody, Tom Corge. I always miss one of them, so I know that they're going to be upset with me. I always leave out one, and it's a different one every time. Right?
We're sorry if we did. So let me mention. So is this Dave Hill? Is there a junior or is this
this is junior?
Junior, okay.
He grew up. I love Dave Hill Jr. He grew up working with this festival since he was 11 years old. He has worked this festival every year alongside his father.
And didn't the family own some property there?
Dave Hill's family owned the Taurus, and I think they own a lot of property. But
and he was down there at the Taurus, I'm sure, all the time. Another gigantic mainstay.
Exactly.
And so, a wide range of folks on that board, and they're all passionate about not just a festival, but the Coconut Grove Art Festival.
Yes.
And frequently, many of those artists go to the South Miami Art Show.
Some do.
They're on that circuit.
Well, some do. We, the difference between some do. There's a little bit of overlap, but our artists really are far-ranging.
Yes.
I have somebody that just applied from France. What you're going to see at our show is going to be different than you're going to see at the other shows, and that's really our goal. Our goal is to bring you things that you're not going to see anywhere else.
Over the years, we wind up with stuff. There's one guy who's all about the elephants, and there's this one great picture of this young man leaning in to the head of the elephant with the tusks around. And I look at that, I go, what a great feeling that is. And when you look at that, you go, that is tremendous. Very aspirational to be able to do that and to have that connection with this gigantic animal and to have everybody comfortable enough and to be able to get that picture to capture that. So tell us about the festival. I understand people are feeling a little bit better about the festival and the community. Tell us about why that's occurring.
I can't speak to the community because I wasn't here before, but I can speak to the artists in general. Our application process, we're in the middle of it. Our applications are higher than they've been in years.
You mean the number? The
number of people vying for this, for the 285 spots is pretty impressive. We'll get over 1,100 applications for those spots.
So how's that process go? So here the 1,100, obviously they're not at the same moment, but and you go, what about this guy? And what about this guy?
We do it. I believe that numbers don't lie. So what we do is I have 5 jurors, and my jurors are from outside of the area. They're from outside of the state of Florida. And we do that on purpose because we don't want anybody that's prejudiced for or against local people. So it's very fair. So they're looking at every application. The artists submit their application with 4 images of their work and 1 image of their booth. And then the judges look at all of these slides and basically score it. They score from 1 to 10. And numbers don't lie.
So this is an independent group.
This is an independent group. They're not connected to the festival at all because we want to keep it fair that way, and we don't want our emotions, playing into who is selected for the.
And so often when we do that, we're not aware that it's a prejudice in the sense that, I really like this guy because I know him and I see him around, rather than you have that.
You can't even begin to.
I'm sorry, Rachel, could you get me some order? Thank you.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty fair process.
It is. We try to make it very, very fair.
And so frequently you have some of the same artists that are coming back.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and they have to reapply every year.
They have to reapply every year, but the thing is, you're probably going to see about, at least 90 of the same ones, but there's some rock stars in the industry that are going to get into almost every show they apply to. That's just... how that works.
Besides the people and the art, there's food.
Yes.
Let's talk about the food.
Food is always great. I'm usually too busy to eat any of it, but it's wonderful. We have a concessionaire that we work with, and there's everything there from your typical, festival food to, my favorite when I get to eat it are the vegetarian noodles that come in the little Chinese container, yeah, but there's everything there. There's a lot of.
And right now, by the way, we're showing some video of some of the festivals.
Nice.
And I like, they also have alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us about the first day when it opens, and then the last day and in between.
So actually, the day before it opens is my crazy day. Watching all the artists load in. They all have to load in and set up their tents, right? So that's such a process, and it's such a fun thing to watch. This street is empty, and then all of a sudden it comes to life.
Do they drive their cars to the spot?
They drive their cars to their vehicles. They unload their stuff. They go park it. They come back. They put their booths up. They put their stuff where it needs to go, secure it, and come back the next day. We open at 9 o'clock in the morning then on Saturday.
So it's Saturday. What's the date?
Saturday, February 15th.
All right, middle of February, Saturday.
President's Weekend.
Is there like a opening ceremony of sorts?
We have a palate breakfast. That is kind of a traditional thing. This year, I think we're going to be using our palate breakfast to thank our sponsors, but also our community, the people that we really impact and kind of inconvenience for the weekend. We inconvenience people for the weekend.
So we have the new logo up there, Coconut Grove Arts Festival.
Yeah.
61st. Congratulations on that. February 15th, 16th, 17th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yep.
And I know sometimes people will say, gee, I want to wait until Sunday. Go when you can.
When you can.
Because it might be raining on such and such a time.
We had to close the festival on Sunday last year because the rains were so extreme. We had no choice.
Yep. So go. Friday's a good time. Saturday's a good time.
Monday's a great time too, because a lot of people don't realize that it's President's Day. We're open on Monday. And, it's just never as crowded on a Monday, But I say go the first day so you can see all the art, because what you want may be gone by
And where
Monday.
do people park?
You can park, there's a lot of public parking in that area. You can park the Mayfair parking garage. Coco Walk has a parking garage. Lots of times you'll see as you're driving through, you'll see, Boy Scout troops or whatever, park here for $10 and do it.
And the main entrance to get in is
McFarland. We have three. We have the entrance on McFarland, the entrance up on Bayshore close to City Hall. There's an entrance there, and there's an entrance on 27th Street. I think the most convenient one is McFarland.
And so, if I remember right, there's food awfully close to the entrance, which I know our studio audience is going to love that when they're down there.
Oh, yeah.
On Friday and Saturday.
There is food scattered throughout. There's little satellite everywhere, but the bulk of it is in a food court right there in Myers Park.
Right. You mentioned that you weren't an artist. Are you sure?
Well, here, I think everybody's an artist in their own way, or I think everybody's creative in their own way. I am not, and I don't wake up every morning and say, I have to create. And I think artists do, right? I think that they have to create.
But you do all year long.
Yeah.
And so this is the unveiling come the 15th or the 14th or whenever the crunch is. Well, when you watch on that day, on the 15th or the 14th, when they're setting up, I'm sure in your head you're going, this is crazy, but it's all going to work out. So tell us your process that you go through when you see all the artists, more or less converging, all about more or less the same time.
I scatter them, we scatter when they arrive, but it is, I've known some of these artists for 30 years. So it's always wonderful for me to be able to see people I know, and just to watch them all come, to be able to provide them a living, that's really what it's about. A lot of these artists, this is their sole source of income, are outdoor art shows. These aren't hobbyists. These aren't people that are, crafting a bowl in their garage at night.
Right.
This is what they do for a living. And it's wonderful. It's a long process. I could bore you and talk about how this happens for hours, but it's just a wonderful thing to see.
When those artists show up, they're serious about being here. They got to, wherever they came from, right? They got to go, we'll be back in a week or so, right? They got to get in their vehicle, whatever it is, pack up the stuff, make sure they got everything that they need, come down here, set it up.
Yep.
and hopefully they'll sell enough where they're going to go, okay, we got room to, to pack up without a problem.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a process. A lot of the artists, I mean, we have artists that drive from Seattle and from LA to get to our show. That's an investment in time,
So have the board and you discussed what the show might be like in 2 to 5 years?
Well, I think we have a pretty good formula, right? Like, I mean, it's not about changing and bringing extra things in. It's about bringing the best art in, and the art will constantly be evolving. I mean, we talk about maybe doing a smaller local show, at a different time of the year. We talk about doing other things. We have a board member that would love to bring a fashion element in, but that, at a different point. But the show itself is almost, I wouldn't say it's, I think it's perfection. I can't help it. I think that, if we wouldn't want more artists than that, because you can't see more artists than that in one day. If anything, I would love to have a few less, because I think that it's hard to take in all of that art in one day.
We know when you walk along, you're waiting for something to catch your eye, and you're with a group and you go, okay, you walk up a little bit. I'll be back in a minute. I got to go back and look at this thing that's over there. So some of the art is pretty big.
Oh yeah.
Some small, some big. How does the purchaser get it from where it is to where they want it to go?
Very often, especially if it's a large piece, the artist will be more than happy to install it for them. Bring it to their home after the festival, at night, in the morning. Artists are very flexible that way. They really don't expect that you're going to walk off with their 4 foot by 8 foot. Yeah, exactly.
Let me get this underneath here and try to make it.
So that's not uncommon.
And so one of the things that we recognize when you have a piece that you enjoy, if the artist comes to your house, that's part of the story.
Oh, absolutely.
Of that, all right?
Absolutely.
And for the people that think that it's silly, it's not. Because when somebody asks you about that, you're going to be able to give a 5-minute dissertation, including a picture of them hanging it up.
Right. Exactly.
So that's wonderful that we see the changes and the improvements and the quality of the show, which is really tremendous. And you get accolades from around the world. And my hat's off to you and to the board of directors and for the people of Miami-Dade County, Broward, and Monroe County, and maybe Palm Beach that come there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We have people from everywhere. I mean, we actually do bring in a significant amount of tourists for this event. So, the hotels are booked.
We like it when the tourists come to Miami-Dade County. We like it when they're here and they go to our local restaurants and they buy from our artists that are down here, because it keeps people coming back.
If you think about the economic impact that 3-day festival has in 3 days in Coconut Grove, it's priceless. Yeah.
And all the radio stations, the TV stations love you guys. They're down there. They already got it on their calendars. They know what they're going to be doing, all right? Come the 15th, they're going to be out there like crazy trying to get the people. That's one of the great things that Coconut Grove Art Festival has. There's such a following that the publicity is huge, worth literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars worth of publicity that's provided by the local media to promote this, very successful event.
And that's important because, the artists need those people to make the sales. If the sales don't happen, the artists don't come. It works together.
We do have, to your right, we have something that we want to show to our camera. You might have to stand to show it. All right.
I think so.
All right. So, and what are we going to be looking at?
Hey, Bill, can you help me with this? This is Bill Kress. He's our PR extraordinaire. He's going to help me with this. We are presenting this check tonight to FIU. It's so much fun. Big checks are always so much fun.
Okay.
$30,000.
Right.
Dave Hill, our chair, will be presenting
Florida
it tonight.
International, $30,000, right, for art scholarships.
Yep.
That is wonderful. Congratulations, from the Coconut Grove Art Festivals. Yeah. That's wonderful. And so this is going to go to some of the students that are out there?
It's going to go to 9 students, and they will use it for their tuition.
That's wonderful.
It's great.
And congratulations on doing that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
For having us.
Oh, no, my pleasure. And we're going to, once you have a seat, because we're going to do something special over here.
Uh-oh.
All right. We have just about a minute left. I'm sure in your life you have people that have been mentors to you.
Yes.
Right? And I'd like you to start thinking about one or more of them. And this would be a great opportunity for you to thank them. If you like to, if they're alive or not, that's fine. If you want to use their name, that would be great. And what a great time to thank them for the things they've done for you. And we're going to look right into this camera right over here, the blue camera.
Oh, you're really good at putting me on the spot.
I know, it's wonderful. All right.
Great at that. Well, I mean,
This is where you're going to make the biggest difference, because somebody's going to be watching you that's going to say, yes. All right, so look right in there, and you got 45 seconds.
Yeah,
to
45 seconds. Okay, well, Monty Trainer, of course, because the man hired me to do this, to take care of his legacy. So Monty, of course, I've got to say, I have a lot of mentors in this industry, and they mostly are other show directors. Like, Cindy Lyric has been a huge help for me. But I will say that my mother really, because she took me to art festivals when I was a kid, and I realized that if I couldn't be an artist, I could work at helping an artist. So yeah, that is how this all evolved. Me going to shows. I remember buying my first piece when I was 8 years old.
Wonderful. Camille Marchese, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
We will see you on the 15th or 16th of September. All right, I'm going to be looking for that guy right over there. And we're going to look right at this camera and say, thank you for joining us, folks. Remember, take care of yourselves and your